How's it going, guys? Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel here. I'm out riding with Tyler, one of my buds. I'm on the KTM 250 XC. This is the 2017 model. And I've been riding the Yurko 300 SER and the Beta 300RR a lot. It's been a long time, like 5 or 6 weeks since I was on this bike. And when you get back on this sucker, these 2017 KTM 2-strokes, wow, you just feel like the motors are electric, because there is literally, compared to those other bikes, there is literally no vibration in this thing. You don't feel it in your feet, you don't feel it in your hands. It is just, it is night and day as far as that goes. It's just incredible. Those other bikes, the Beta and the Yurko, are both good bikes. They're very good. They're made for different things. The 300RR is a little bit more of a trail bike.
Let me clarify that a little bit. I'm not saying that the Beta 300RR is a trail bike, because I've ridden it back to back with a trail bike like a Honda CRF 250X. That's a trail bike, and the Beta certainly isn't a trail bike in that sense of the word. It's just not as much of a race bike as this one and even the Yurko 300 SER. So it's actually pretty special. It's kind of a league in its own.
Then this one, this is more of a racing and obviously cross-country bike. So obviously they're different. The Yurko 300 SER and this bike actually are much more closely related as far as how they handle, how they're set up. But this one here, there's just zero vibration, and it makes it just that much more enjoyable to ride. Tyler's back there on the, he's got a 200 XC that he's made. It was a 2014, I believe it was a 2014 150 XC, and he put a 200 cylinder, I got something on my goggles here. He put a cylinder from a 200 on the bike, and then he's actually put air forks. He got some air forks off eBay from a 250 SX bike. So he's got air forks on the front of that sucker, and he is just loving it. He's done a few other things to it. It's a bike he loves to take up here in the mountain single track. He also races some enduro cross with it, and he just loves that thing. It's just so light and agile. So I swapped over to Tyler's 200 here, and I've got about 2 minutes on the bike just going down this trail. I haven't gone up anything yet, but wow, this thing is so light. He's also he's got it set up stiffer, quite a bit stiffer than my bike. Tyler weighs 20 or 25 pounds more than me, and so he obviously runs the correct amount of sag for his bike, I mean for him, which makes the bike a little stiff for me on the rear, and then obviously he's running a little bit more pressure, or a little different pressure, because this is different valving on these forks than what I've got.
You know, if nothing else, riding this bike made me really, really excited to be able to ride like a newer counterbalanced KTM X 150 XCW that has got the new frame and has got that counterbalance motor. I know that the 150 XCWs, I think they have like a WP Explorer fork, so it's a like an open cartridge fork. But the open cartridge forks from WP on the Yurko 300 SER, I've actually really liked them. And so riding this thing, it's amazing how this 200 will just gut it out up these hills. And everywhere we went, I was able to take the bike, or Tyler was able to take the bike up every hill that the 250 had. Yeah, the 250's got a ton more power, and the 250 had a ton less vibration because the 250 is that newer motor. This is an older motor that it was a 150 that he converted into a 200, and but it was just a really capable bike, and it was super light. It was a lot of fun to ride.
Since this bike doesn't have a counterbalancer in that motor, you definitely feel the vibration quite a bit more.
This ride ended up taking about 6 hours from the time we left the truck to the time we got back to the truck, and so it was really good. It was all single track, and this gets actually really quite tight because it's overgrown. There's a lot of scrub oak right to the side. You're going through, and you've got a lot of vegetation in some of the spots. Not so much on these uphill, on these south-facing slopes like this, but on the north-facing slopes and stuff, it gets really tight. And I don't know if I'll be able to share the footage. It'll probably come down the road, because I took so much footage from this day. I don't know if I'll get to it. But there was a time when Tyler and I were coming back and we were pushing each other, and I was in front and I could hear him right on my tire, and I was really tired, and I'm coming around a corner, and my tire just hits a root ball that I couldn't see because it was hidden down in the weeds, and it hits this root ball and it just sends me flying off the bike, and I go tomahawking into the ground, pounded my head on the ground really hard, and we just kind of get up and laugh it off. And it's a really beautiful area to ride up in here. We're so lucky in Utah to have like such a diversity of terrain to ride.
Look at this dirt. It's perfect. Just wet, just a little bit wet. Rich, dark earth here. Just tacky. Perfect conditions. Nicely done. He's on my 250. So this bike has no electric start, because again it was that 2014 150 XC that he converted to a 200. It's got no e-start. It is just bare bones dirt bike, and it's freaking awesome. Fun change of pace bike. I mean, I've only ridden it for a few minutes now, but makes me kind of want one. Even more reason to see if later this year or next year I can get my hands on KTM's new 150 XCW, because it's just so light and flickable. It's so fun to ride different bikes. I mean, I'm riding so many different bikes just in the last well, in the last 3 weeks, I have ridden, I've got 3 different bikes right now. I've got the 250XC that Tyler is on right now behind me. I've got the 300 SER, the Yurko 300 SER, and then the Beta 300RR. Oh, I've also ridden Sam's old, or my old Sam's bike, his KTM 300XC, and now this one, Tyler's 200XC, and man, it's like I'm riding so many bikes. I don't get time to get super complacent or comfortable on any one of them.